Congratulations, WWE. You just lost probably a lot of fans tonight. 2 years in a row. Remember what happened last year at Hell in a Cell, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, let's go in the Wayback Machine. Let's see. Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Hell in a Cell match for the Universal Championship. We get down to the nitty-gritty. We have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler battling on top of the cell while Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns are down below. Out came Brock Lesnar, who destroyed both guys in the middle of the ring, and what happens? No contest. What do we get this year? We get Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, versus Seth Rollins to close out this show. WWE had one thing they needed to do to send the fans home happy. You give Bray Wyatt the championship. What did they do? Did we get Bray Wyatt winning the championship? No. You gave us a DQ finish in a Hell in a Cell match. Give me a fucking break. You deserved every "we want refunds," cancel this network, or AEW chant, or restart the match chant, or any chant that was shouted tonight. You fucking deserved. If you wanted to do something different and get Bray Wyatt over, you don't book him in a Universal Championship match if you're not ready to give him the championship. You had one fucking option. Bray goes in, Bray goes out as Universal Champion. You didn't do that. You gave us a DQ fucking finish. That had to be the worst finish. That's like, we thought last year was an awful finish. And yes, that was an awful finish. But somebody found the script for last year, which I'm surprised it's not burned up after it's used, and said, we ended it in a no contest last year. Let's do a DQ finish. In a Hell in a fucking Cell match, you go with a DQ finish. Give me a motherfucking break. Absolutely ridiculous. The rest of the show was meh. The first match, the Hell in a Cell between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, Wrong Woman won, but it was a hell of a match. Everything else in between, it started off hot. The tag team match between the brothers of the Bludgeon Brothers and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan was a good follow-up to the Hell in a Cell match, and then the show just went downhill from there. The Hell in a Cell match, well, first off, I'm okay with it, but of course, you gotta learn not to stare, and I would hate to be there during that main event when they had the red lights on. But the red lights, I think, should be something they don't do again, because you could have people who have problems with eyesight or something in the crowd, and you're going to be blinding them with the red lights. Yes, it adds to the creepiness of the Fiend. But I would kind of keep the lights off. I wouldn't do those lights. We used to do that with Sin Cara back in the day, and people hated it then. It adds to the creepiness, but you can't do that every single night or every single time the Fiend is out there. The Fiend pretty much destroyed Seth Rollins for the majority of the match. Seth Rollins got the upper hand and just started hitting stomp after stomp after stomp after stomp after stomp after stomp. Fiend would kick out. Stomp after stomp after stomp after stomp. Fans booing the hell out of this shit because we all thought, well, they're going to fuck this up and Bray Wyatt is going to lose to Seth Rollins. But no, in the end, Seth Rollins covers the Fiend in a toolbox, a bunch of chairs, and then gets a sledgehammer. The referee tries to talk him down, and then he hits Bray Wyatt with the sledgehammer, and the ref calls the DQ. Fans go fucking pissed off mode. The fans are pissed off. The fans are just over this shit. We are all fucking like... My dad, for some reason, loved this fucking finish. I don't know why. He must be on drugs or something because this finish was absolutely fucking retarded. If you did not want to give Bray Wyatt the championship, you don't book him in this match. This was WWE realizing, hey, we booked ourselves into a situation we didn't want to book ourselves into, so we're going to have to fucking change it. This is why I did not want Bray Wyatt in the Hell in a Cell match, because either A, you were going to do what everyone said you should do and have Bray Wyatt win the match, or B, have Seth Rollins win the champion, retain the title, or C, give us a fuck finish. A lot of people expected, like, The Undertaker to show up, which would have made absolutely no sense. Or Braun Strowman to break the cage door open, which would have made no sense. But in the end, we got the worst finish in Hell in a Cell history. Mick Foley did not almost die twice in Hell in a Cell for shit like this to happen. Shawn Michaels The Undertaker did not go out and put a classic on in the first match with Kane making his debut for shit like this to happen. If this is the way they're going to treat Hell in a Cell needs to go away for a very, very long fucking time. This is 2 years in a row that we have had a fuck finish at the end of a Hell in a Cell. Give me a goddamn break. After the match, of course, Bray Wyatt is being put over onto a stretcher, and then my dad's like, oh, when he gets up and he gives him a mandible claw, they're going to go ballistic. If the match was still going on and that happened, yes, that would have been, like, the crowd would have popped and went completely crazy. But it happened after the DQ finished, so the fans are sitting there as Bray Wyatt is attacking Seth Rollins, restart the match. That, unfortunately, was not going to happen. So again, for the second year in a row, WWE just leaves us disappointed. Absolutely disappointed. And it's just, WWE, they just cannot help themselves. They cannot help themselves. You had one option and one option only. You put Bray Wyatt in this match. He should not have been in this match if you weren't going to give him the championship. So you put him in this match, you give him the championship, and you move Seth Rollins, which we've all should have seen this coming. Becky Lynch beating Sasha Banks at the beginning of this show should have told us three things. Sasha Banks is probably moving the SmackDown. Bayley was losing the championship, moving the Raw probably, which would be, I guess, better than having Charlotte move the Raw. And The Fiend is going to not win the championship at Hell in a Cell, because if Seth Rollins is going to lose his championship, it will be about the same time Becky loses her championship this time. This match was, this show just, it was fine. It was an okay show, decent show, you know, it was not as hot. It started off hot and then cooled off. But that finish was absolutely just one of the worst things I have seen on WWE TV in a long time. WWE just cannot help themselves. And I don't know what else to say. Moving on to the beginning of the show, we had the first match of the night was Natalya versus Lacey Evans on the kickoff show. Back and forth match, Natalya wins with the sharpshooter. Who really cares, because Lacey Evans is useless. Let's see here. We had the show start off with the Hell in a Cell Women's Championship match for Raw, the Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch match. We go to Hell in a Cell and out comes Sasha Banks, which the cell is not down yet for whatever reason, and we find out in a minute why that is. We get the formal ring's introduction by Mike Rome as the cell is lowered around the ring. Before the cell hits the floor, Becky hits forearms Becky, taking her to the outside and slamming her against the bottom of the cell twice. They end up on the outside, and I'm thinking, are these two going to climb up on top of the cell? That did not happen, probably fortunately, but that did not happen. So Becky is getting rammed over and over and over again into the cell. Banks finally gets into the cell. Becky finally follows her. She pulls up and kicks the cell door into Banks' face. She finally gets to the cell and unloads on Banks. Brings it back in the ring as the referee chains the cell shut. It's referee John Cone, who was taking his sweet-ass time to get this chain locked up. So Becky grabs the chain from the referee and wraps it around her fist. Hits Becky. Becky returns to the ring indirectly. Hits Banks in the gut at least a few times, then over the back. Becky with an uppercut. Becky kicks Banks and drop kicks her to the floor. Becky works Banks over and rubs her face in the steel steps. Fans chant for Becky. Becky now chains the cell door shut, but the lock is on the inside. So even though John Cone probably had the key, he would not be able to unlock the door if necessary without some bolt cutters. Banks turns it around on the outside, but Becky kicks her. Becky brings a table from under the ring and slides it in. Brings a ladder out, but Banks stops her and works her over on with a steel chair. Becky turns it around on the floor and delivers chair shots to her on her own. Becky brings it back to the ring, but Banks with a few quick pin attempts. Becky slams Banks' face into a chair that stood up. Becky goes to disarm her off of the chair, and kicks Becky in the face with what Banks does. More back and forth. Becky sends Banks to the floor and drop kicks her. She brings out a couple of kendo sticks. And if anybody remembers the kendo stick, the match between the New Day and the Usos in Hell in a Cell a couple years ago, there was a portion where one of the Usos was put into the corner and had kendo sticks slid in front of him, so he was pretty much just stuck there. She did something like Sasha Banks did something like that with 2 kendo sticks, but on top, like one on top of the other. Then a little bit later, Becky grabs a chair and puts it on top of those, gets another stick to fasten it in so it's stationary there, so if one of them was set on top of it, it wouldn't fall off. That leads to Sasha Banks being put on the chair, Becky Lynch run and hitting her with a drop kick, sending her back into the center of the cell, the ribs of the center of the cell, the connector where they connect, and laying her out. These guys beat the holy hell out of each other. This was an absolute war. This is what Hell in a Cell should be in a Hell in a Cell match. Becky unloads with the kendo stick shots on the floor. Becky Banks bridges 2 kendo sticks from one. Okay, we got that one already, yeah. Drop kicks Banks on the chair in the corner. Fans chant, holy shit, now both are down in the ring. This is awesome chant. Becky goes to the top and hits a big leg drop for a close 2 count. The match comes down to it where Sasha Banks is just, Banks is down, Becky Lynch is down in the ring. Banks is just throwing chairs from 2 corners of the ring, just throwing them in. She actually tosses one, and Becky Lynch was lucky she was like looking up because she actually caught a chair that would have smacked her right in the face. There was a moment early in the match that Becky Lynch was getting up and she charged at Sasha Banks, who turned around and wham right in the face. That one looked brutal. But she's throwing all these chairs in. Looks like something's going to happen. Banks back up and she unloads with chairs. Banks goes to the top second rope to show off. Becky stops her with a chair shot, climbs up with a super exploder from the top rope of better chairs. Becky applies to disarm her. Banks tries to fight out. She pulls the ponytail of Becky Lynch for a second, and she tries to fight out, but she ends up tapping out. These two beat the hell out of each other. I'm not saying this was a bad match. This was an excellent match. This is a hot start to a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. This is how you start a pay-per-view off right. What I am saying is the wrong woman won. Becky Lynch did not need to win this match. Sasha Banks was brought back. You had her brought back. You had her turn heel. You had her come up against Becky Lynch. Her time against Becky Lynch is now over. Now, I know the only other heel really on Monday Night Raw right now is Becky Lynch. Is Sasha Banks, and that's it. Now, with the draft coming up, I could fully see them putting Sasha Banks on SmackDown to feud with Charlotte Flair, so we have to go through that again, which means that if Becky Lynch is to get, I keep saying the name. That means if Sasha Banks goes to SmackDown and feuds with Charlotte Flair, we're going to have a repeat of 2016 where they hotshot the belt so we can have Charlotte Flair go from a time champion to a 15-16 time champion by WrestleMania next year. Because it will happen like that. But you have Sasha Banks come back. Apparently she signed a new deal. Who knows how long that's for, maybe 5 years. I'm hoping those rumors are bullshit because WWE will never appreciate what they have in Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is one of the few women in this company that should be a 8, 9, 10 time women's champion, and by the time she's done wrestling and giving you some of the best matches you will ever see. And quite honestly, she should have won this match. She needed this win. She won the last pay-per-view, which makes me wonder because, yes, she won the last pay-per-view by DQ, but this was a blow-off match. So, I don't get why you just have her lose. But looking back on this entire show, this match right here told you who was winning with Bayley and Charlotte Flair, and who was winning them, and what was happening, who was going to walk away with the title in the main event. So, looking back on it now, this was just really obvious. After the match, Becky stands tall, and the title as the music hits. Banks is helped out of the cell. We go to replays. Banks watches from the stage as Becky stands tall with the title. Michael Cole and Corey Graves is at ringside. Can someone still tell me why Raw needs a 3-man group, and SmackDown gets a 2-man group. Where is Renee Young? She was supposed to be a special correspondent. What happened to that? Tornado tag match, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. This match was made a Tornado tag team match on the pre-show. And honestly, it was a good idea to make this a Tornado tag team match, 110%. This would help also hide any faults of Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Roman Reigns, or Daniel Bryan. This match Eric Rowan, out of the 4 guys in this match, I think Eric Rowan is the weaker of the 4. So, that was definitely a good thing about this match, is that they left it as that. But in the end, we had the same bullshit finish with the Roman Reigns match. Who do you think won this match? Did Daniel Bryan turn heel? The answer is Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns won, and Daniel Bryan did not turn heel. So, my only question to this match is, what was the fucking point of this entire storyline? If this was not going to lead to Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, what was the fucking point? Because, in my opinion, Luke Harper was not coming back to TV until they needed him for the tag team match in this Hell in a Cell show. So, what was the point? You could have had Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, or Daniel Bryan turn heel. The Usos, who were supposed to make the return apparently this past Friday, make the return tonight and save Roman Reigns from a Daniel Bryan Eric Rowan 3-on-1 beatdown. But no, we got a no disqualification, no countout, Texas Tornado tag team match. These 2 teams brawled all over. The Bludgeon Brothers took turns beating up on Roman, beating up on Daniel Bryan. They were all in control of this match for the majority of this match. You had the announce table get speared, like Eric Rowan get speared through an announce table. You had the Bludgeon Brothers just beating the living hell out of Daniel Bryan at one point. Daniel Bryan ended up on his own for a while, because what happened is when when Roman Reigns hit Eric Rowan with the spear, and you watch the replay, it looked like the announce table, the corner of the announce table fell on the back of Roman Reigns' knee. He literally was like grabbing his knee, looking like maybe he is legitimately injured, which thank God he doesn't look like he is. But yes, that looked absolutely painful. Harper also in this match, I don't remember if he did like a suicide dive to the outside or something, but he tweaked his knee earlier. Okay, hold on. Yeah, he dives on the outside, he sells his knee injury. That looked like it fucking hurt. Towards the end of the match, before they had the spear spot, he goes and does a dive to the outside onto Daniel Bryan. I don't think it actually went the way it was supposed to, because he slid over Daniel Bryan and his head careened into the corner of the commentator's desk. I don't know if Harper was trying to hurt himself or something, but dude came out of this thing with missing out on 2 injuries. It was definitely hard hitting there. But in the end, Bryan counters Harper with a dragon suplex, and then another. Bryan counters the third one. Reigns hits a Superman punch. On Harper. Bryan with a running knee to Harper. Reigns follows that up with a spear and a 1-2-3. So Daniel Bryan and Roman win the match. Where do Harper and Roman go from here? I'm hoping, since you got these guys together, I'm hoping this will lead to them being in the tag team division. They could be the Bludgeon Brothers 2.0, where they don't have their hammers, they don't have their mask, they just who they are. They could be Harper and Roman, whatever you want to call them, and they could be the tag team that beats all the tag teams. If you want to just do something with them, you have great talents in Harper and Roman as a tag team. Harper on his own is going to be a fucking star when he leaves WWE, and hopefully he'll be leaving after around WrestleMania time next year, going to Japan, going to Impact Wrestling, going to Ring of Honor or All Elite Wrestling. People are thinking, oh, he's going to leave WWE and immediately go to AEW. That might not be the case. What if he decides, well, I want to go work in Japan and do their G1 Climax next year? Well, there you go. Brody Lee can go be in the G1 Climax. Maybe he wants to go work for Ring of Honor. Maybe he wants to work for Impact Wrestling. Maybe he wants to go to AEW. Maybe they'll want him to come to AEW. All I know is Luke Harper needs to let his contract run out, because he is definitely worth more than they're using him for. If this is the last time we'll see Luke Harper in WWE before his contract runs out, so be it. This was a hell of a match to go out on. After the match, Reigns' music hits and the winners recover. We get replays. Bryan pulls himself up while looking at Reigns. Reigns nods as a show of respect. Bryan offers him a hand for a shake, and Reigns looks to shake his hand, but Bryan pulls away, and the fans boo. He goes to the corner, and he turns around, and he wants a hug. Fans chant yes, and I was thinking maybe this was going to lead to them looking for a hug, and Bryan blows him for a heel turn, but no. They consider it, and eventually they do hug it out, and that was that. So, again, what was the point of all this? To get Roman over some more? What was the literal fucking point of this entire feud? I still don't get it. I still, for the life of me, don't know why they had this feud in the first place. I'm still having a little trouble connecting the dots, because Roman is over, as much as it can be. I just don't get what they really wanted to do with this entire thing. I just don't get it. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Seth Rollins. He's never seen anything like the Fiend, and knows tonight will be the biggest challenge of his career, but he remains confident about facing Bray Wyatt inside the cell. Now, there were multiple matches thrown together last minute on like a few hours before the pre-show. Then when we get to the kickoff show, another match was added on the show, and it was Randy Orton versus Ali. Of course, this is a build off of what happened back in February, right before the week before Elimination Chamber was going to be a gauntlet match with all the participants inside the Elimination Chamber. Mustafa Ali was one of them. Kofi Kingston's entire WWE Championship run is because Mustafa Ali got injured, and Randy Orton, in storyline, takes credit for this. So, they agreed to a match, and that's what we had here. This was a pretty good match here. Ali showed you why he is really good at what he does. He held up with Orton. Orton held up with him. Match comes to an end. This was fucking fantastic. Orton goes for the RKO, and Orton goes for it, but Ali falls down like he's gonna go begin it, but he handstands. He puts his hands to brace his fall, stands back up, rolls Orton up into a crucifix for a 1-2 kick out. Ali kicks to the face from the apron. He goes in for a rolling facebuster again because he hit one earlier in the match. Orton catches him with the RKO. Gives a look, it's like, bitch, did you think you were going to get out of this? 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton is your winner. However, after the match, Orton stands tall as we go to replays. He's walking past Ali. Ali, in this match, took some brutal shots and has a bruise on his right side near his ribs. Definitely ugly looking stuff. But Orton looks down, puts his hand in the ball, pounds his chest twice, and then points down to Ali. It's like, yeah, you got my respect. So, looks like Orton gave a little bit of respect to Ali. This was a good match. Something that I would say, if you haven't seen it yet, go out your way to check it out. This was probably one of the better matches of the night, in my opinion. Women's Tag Team titles, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So, why did this match happen? Why was this match? Why were the Asuka and Kairi Sane given a tag team title match? Hell, if I should know, even Alexa Bliss on the kickoff show posed this question: what have these two done to deserve a tag team title match? Hell, Bayley and Sasha Banks, the Boston Thug Connection, they have beat the tag team champions and Nikki Cross each, so they actually deserved a tag team title opportunity over Nikki Cross, over Kairi Sane and Asuka. Not much you can say about this match except for the ending. This match was just meh. The ending, though. Which, by the way, did anyone have a problem with the network at the beginning of the show? Because, after the Hell in a Cell match, my network crashed. Right as Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were coming in, and we were ready for that tag team match. And I didn't get it back till the tag team match was going. But Sane is on the outside. She is clean. Sane is on the outside. She gets Alexa Bliss does a cannonball, taking out Kairi Sane. While the referee is distracted, Nikki Cross, who was in the match with Asuka, Asuka channeling Tajiri, the Great Muta, and other Japanese legends. Green mist to the face of Nikki Cross. Kick to the head. 1, 2, 3. Asuka and Kairi Sane are your new tag team champions. So the only thing that I can say about this is great for Asuka and Kairi Sane. They finally get tag team gold. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss had a hell of a tag team title run. I'm sure they'll be back to being tag team champions soon. Can it wait till after November 23rd? Here's what I pose. Asuka and Kairi Sane are worthy of an NXT takeover. Team Kick have both Team Kick, Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox are both back healthy and ready to go. Could we see at NXT TakeOver War Games Team Kick versus Kairi Sane and Asuka for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships? I think that would be an awesome match, and I think that should be booked for War Games. If that is the reason you gave Asuka and Kairi Sane the tag team titles, is to have them defended at War Games against Team Kick, I am all for that. Not Beige and Bougie, or whatever the fuck their name is, Aliyah and Vanessa Bourne. They're not worth anything. But if you give me Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox versus Asuka and Kairi Sane at NXT TakeOver War Games, I think that is going to be an excellent. That would be an excellent match. The announcers give us a look back at Friday's Fox premiere, Who Gives a Shit, and then we go to another match that was put together. The OCs versus the Viking Raiders and a mystery partner. Now, when this match was announced, I'm like, oh, it's going to be Cedric. It's obviously going to be Cedric. Why don't you just name it Cedric Alexander? But no. The Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman versus the OC. Why did this match happen? Hell if I should know. Braun Strowman versus and Viking Raiders versus the OC make absolutely no sense. This is when, in my opinion, the show started to fall off a cliff. In my opinion, I would say the tag team championship match is where it peaked, just to where it's like it stopped. Like it was going up and it was staying flat and it just stopped. That match ended and it started to fall downhill because this match was nothing. This match was just bleh. So the match ends in a DQ anyway, as AJ hits a phenomenal form on a member of the Viking Raiders. Anderson got to take out Braun Strowman, who's out. These three just start beating the hell out of Braun Strowman, and the referee calls for the bell after they take turns on him, and the ref calls a DQ with the Braun Strowman and the Viking Raiders winning the match. The only positive I see of this entire match is that the Viking Raiders will finally get a spot on a pay-per-view. Even if it was last minute, at least they get to have a showcase on the pay-per-view. And they, for their portion of the match, was absolutely fucking great. They was just awesome. They move like they can move bigger, like they move like big, like cruiserweights sometimes. They do shit that guys those size shouldn't be doing. And honestly, they were the best parts of that match, even though the match really wasn't that good. After the bell, the OCs continue to attack Braun until the Viking Raiders make the save. They run the ropes and the suicide dive on Gallows and Anderson. AJ is left alone with Braun. Braun counters it but runs into a shot in the corner. And then another, AJ flies from the apron, but Braun just takes his right fist, cocks it back, and just punches, like, if you had, if someone does a video, like, review of this, or a video, like, highlight of this, when he cocks his hand back and punches up, you might want to put the Falcon Punch in there, because he literally just punched AJ, and AJ looked like he was out like Mason Rudolph was today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was just out like a light. Now, Vic wondered if that was a message to Tyson Fury, which, yes, it was. Congratulations, Vic. You are now on Monday Night Raw. Braun marches off to the back and the OC recover. They pick up AJ, and this was the funniest part of the show, in my opinion. This was funny. AJ gets up, and he's like, I'm fine. He doesn't know where he's at. He's just got spaghetti legs. He's trying to get up. He's like, I'm fine. He gets out of the ring. He's like, I got this. I get out of the ring. He falls. He gets to, like, they're helping him up. He's like, I got this. He pulls the title up and just falls backwards like he's, like he can't even walk. It was just, that was the best part of the entire comedy, the comedy for the night. Street Profits are backstage hyping up Raw. There will be a draft. There will be a draft showcase. Of course, there will. Tamina Snuka knocks R-Truth and WWE Women 24/7 Champion Carmella into the picture. Then encourages Carmella to win the title. She goes to lead, but Tyler Breeze appears, punches him in the face, and keeps going. Why was Tyler Breeze at Hell in a Cell? I mean, neither went at Hell in a Cell, so him and Xavier Woods couldn't have been doing anything. So why was Tyler Breeze, who's in NXT, at Hell in a Cell? Carmella and Truth eventually go after her, and the Profits go back to doing what they were doing. Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin. This match, again, Corbin names Gable Shorty Gable. A couple months ago, it's come out that there is a new trademark that WWE trademark for Shorty G. Well, WWE became a little bit closer to that Shorty G name by renaming him Shorty Gable. Corey Graves kept calling him Shorty. Greg Hamilton announced him as the winner as Shorty Gable. Bucky and Caleb Braxton backstage called him Shorty Gable. It's like, Chad Gable, I hope your contract is up soon, because quite honestly, being called Shorty Gable or Shorty G is going to kill your career. These guys are going to show you how they are good. They're good at what they do. These guys are just like, these guys have good chemistry together. I don't know what it is, but it's like these guys, it's like if you had the Fight Forever chant, these guys would deserve it. They are that. Chad Gable gets the best out of Baron Corbin by far. Was this their best match? I would have to say this one and the King of the Ring Finals match were the two best matches they had. Referee, Corbin goes for the scepter and brings it in, but Gable ducks. The referee grabs it. Gable rolls up Corbin for the 1, 2, 3, and that is that. After the match, Gable was announced by Hamilton as Shorty Gable. Gable makes his exit as Corbin looks on from the ring. He is ecstatic that he finally beat Baron Corbin. The draft is on Friday and on the Monday, a week from tomorrow. Please, 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 whatever you do, Gable stays on SmackDown, Corbin stays on Raw, or if you want to flip them, flip them. I do not want to see Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin again, unless something has to do with one of them being champion and the other one going for the championship. I don't want to see them wrestle again for a very long time. SmackDown Women's Championship match, Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Charlotte comes out of course she gets pyro. Bayley's out next. We get a look at the others international announced teams, because we still need to know who's this is something I don't get. Why do we have to know who's on the international announced teams? That's none of our goddamn business. I am listening to WWE through Michael Cole or Corey Graves for SmackDown, Vic Joseph, Dio Madden, and Sherry King Lawler for Raw. I don't need to hear who's going to be calling the matches in other languages. I really don't care. Which, by the way, everyone's wondering, where was the Cruiserweight Championship tonight? Why was there no Cruiserweight Championship match? Because the Cruiserweight Championship match is going to be reserved for a place that will give it the actual love that it deserves at Full Sail this coming Wednesday for NXT. Because it's now the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. R-Truth regains the 24/7 Championship by the help of Carmella as Miss Tamina was around the international announced team row. She tries to use Funaki to protect her, but Truth and Carmella hit her from behind. Truth and Carmella run off together. We go to commercial. We go back to the ring for the formal introductions by Greg Hamilton. I'll give you about 5 seconds to guess who won this match. Charlotte Flair is a 10-time women's champion. It was inevitable. It was either now or next week or at the draft or whatever. Charlotte Flair was going to win the women's championship. Was this a great match? No. Was this a good match? No, it was an okay match. Charlotte Flair wins with the figure eight. Bayley tried to do everything she could, hook her by crook, to keep the championship, and it just didn't happen. After the bell, Bayley retreats to the floor as Flair stands tall with the title. As the music hits, we go to replay. Bayley throws a fit and screams at ringside. She cries and yells at the referee to get away. Why does this always happen to me? and she's just in tears. She's going I just feel like this is going to send Bayley over the edge. This is going to send Bayley over the edge, where she becomes a psychotic character in WWE, and she goes absolutely fucking batshit crazy. I expected this to happen eventually, that we were going to have Charlotte Flair win. It's in California. I know that Bayley is from San Jose. This is Sacramento. It's not too far. It's not too far away. So WWE had to do what they can to get that embarrassment of Bayley and having her sit there and cry on the floor and scream and shout, "Why is this how it's happened to me?" Just WWE doing their best to embarrass Bayley. Do I expect Charlotte Flair to lose that championship by the end of this year? Hell yes. Because I'm telling you right now, she's going to be at least a 14-time champion, probably coming into by the end of next year. They want that number up. And if something happens to Rick and he has a turn for the worse or something, you guarantee Charlotte Flair is going to be a 16-time champion, at least before her father bites the dust. They want her father to see his daughter a 16-time women's champion. It's only a matter of time. Kayla Braxton stops Chad Gable. She slips up and calls him Shorty, but he's fine with being called that. Now, he cracks short jokes on Baron Corbin, says this means more to him than almost anything in his career. Really? Beating Baron Corbin meant more to you than participating in the Olympics for the United States? Beating Baron Corbin meant more to you than winning the King of the Ring? Beating Baron Corbin meant more to you than winning the NXT Tag Team titles once, and winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles, all that stuff right there didn't mean to you as much as beating Baron Corbin. Way to bury yourself, man. Because he finally shuts someone up. He goes and walks off. He says, just go ask Corbin how's it feel to be coming up short, and how Gable was the better man, was the bigger man. Corbin attacks him, destroys him, and leaves him laying in a hallway off to the side. Corbin walks off as a official check on him. So this feud is not over, I guess. Please let it be over. We go to the Universal title match. The Fiend. Wow, we're already there. Yeah, wow. Hell in a Cell, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. We already ranted on this. The thing that I noticed is that they brought back lasers, which I don't know why they took lasers away, why that was such an expense. It's just a part of your lighting rig, so why the fuck did you take lasers away before now? But they added red lasers to Bray Wyatt. When Bray Wyatt's coming out, the screen actually flashes a misty red twice, which just makes it even more creepier. He has his lantern. He has his head lantern, so it went nowhere. They left the red light on for the entire match. Now, for me, that is fine because I can look up, look down, look up, look down every once in a while to let my eyes rest. I would have hated to be in that arena while this match went on. Because I would have had to have my eyes closed for half of the match just to keep the... I don't know who thought the red light was a good idea. But obviously, yes, it made it added to the mystique of the Fiend. But, again... It's just something that you gotta take your people who are watching into account. Some people can't handle that red lighting. It's just part of the thing. But in the end, as I ranted earlier, Bray Wyatt just destroys Seth Rollins the majority of this match. Gets a Sister Abigail on him. He mounts Rollins and pounds on him. Wyatt keeps Rollins down and twists his neck, which do not let Bray Wyatt do that. The neck thing, like you're snapping somebody's neck, should not be allowed in professional wrestling, because you do it one time the wrong way or too hard, you're going to kill somebody. So let's not do that. The referee checks on Rollins, and Wyatt watches and launches and laughs. Wyatt brings a massive mallet from under the ring and stalks Rollins with it, then uses it to ram Rollins back into the steel. Rollins with a pair of super kicks and a third stomp. Rollins stomp into the mallet. Rollins follows Wyatt back in. He springboards him with a knee to the face, but Wyatt takes it. Wyatt did not sell for the majority of this match, which is what he should do. He got hit with a kendo stick twice, didn't sell it. Good shit. Rollins with a super kick and then another, but Wyatt goes just down to one knee. Rollins with a stomp. with another stomp and some more, and fans are booing because what it felt like is that we're going to just do what we did with Braun Strowman and what we did with Brock Lesnar. Rollins is going to stomp and stomp and stomp and stomp and stomp until he pins the Fiend. But no, they went absolutely worse. Rollins with the pedigree in the middle of the ring and another stomp covers, but Wyatt kicks out at 1. Rollins is shocked. Rollins with more offense, but Wyatt is just taking it. Rollins delivers some more stomps, and Wyatt keeps coming, slow each time. Wyatt is finally down after another stomp. Rollins brings a steel stair from under the ring. Rollins brings the chair in, and he goes over to Wyatt. Wyatt is just laying in the ring like The Undertaker would before he would sit up. Or Kane as well. He's just laying there. Seth Rollins comes over and he's like looking at Bray Wyatt like he has the chair. And I was thinking Wyatt's going to pop up and get the mandible claw and that's going to be it. But no, hits him at the crown of his head, which is probably going to be a fine. Wyatt immediately kicks out and Rollins can't believe it. Rollins brings a ladder into the ring, places the chair over Wyatt's head, drives the chair into Wyatt's face with the ladder, but Wyatt kicks out at 2. Wyatt is still on his back and Rollins goes under the ring, can't find the weapons he wants, brings a toolbox in the ring, places the ladder on Wyatt's face in the chair. He grabs the toolbox and starts beating on Wyatt over and over on the chair and ladder in Wyatt's face. Fans start booing Rollins. Rollins puts the toolbox on top of the ladder and chair on Wyatt's face. Rollins goes back under the ring and this time brings out Triple H's sledgehammer. Rollins brings the sledgehammer into the ring, but the referee stops him and tells him, "Is this the man you are? Is this what you're going to do? Are you kidding me? No, don't do this. Don't do this." Takes it and hits the top of the debris. The referee calls for the bell, and the boos pick up. After the bell, Rollins immediately looks on from the corner, shocked. Rollins jumps up and yells while Wyatt is still laid flat on his back. Officials and paramedics rush down to the ring. The red lights is still focused on the ring. Fans start chanting for AEW as Wyatt is rolled over onto a stretcher. Rollins approaches and Wyatt applies the mandible claw out of nowhere. This is where people got fucking pissed. Wyatt manhandles Rollins and sends him out of the ring. The cell has been raised now. Wyatt drops Rollins to the floor with Sister Abigail. Wyatt exposes the floor and drops Rollins on the exposed concrete with another Sister Abigail, while fans are chanting, "Restart the match." Wyatt applies the mandible claw again, and this time the lights start flashing as the menacing sounds play over the arena. Fans booing. Arena goes black after we see Wyatt choking Rollins. The boos continue, but all we hear and see is black. The sound hits again as Wyatt is shown standing there. Fans are still booing. Wyatt disappears, and all we hear is laugh go out over the arena. The 2019 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view goes off the air. That last laughter could have just might as well have been Vince McMahon laughing at each and every one of us. Because Vince McMahon just made us all look like fucking idiots. They can never let anything be special. Again, you had Wyatt look like he was dead. And yes, had the bell not rung, had this been the match still, and Seth Rollins goes over there after hitting the thing, pulling Wyatt up and getting in the mandible claw, crowd would have went fucking ballistic. But you call it a DQ, and 2 years in a fucking row, you take a concept that is no disqualification, no countouts, nobody in, nobody can leave, and you end it in a fuck finish again. This has got to be... Vince McMahon just showed you again why he is out of fucking touch. Vince McMahon showed you again why AEW is going to kick NXT's ass for the next umpteen months. Vince McMahon showed you why AEW, as long as they keep doing what they're going to do, is going to end up being the end of WWE because Vince McMahon is a fucking idiot. That was a horrible, horrible way to end this show. You started off with Raw this week. Terrible fucking show. You went into NXT. Awesome fucking show. A season premiere to be a season premiere. You go to SmackDown Live with the shittiest fucking ending for Kofi Kingston's reign that you could ever give him. And then you end with this fucking show that was okay to decent up until that fucking match. Not just the finish of the match. When Seth Rollins started hitting stomp after stomp after stomp after stomp, and the Fiend just continued to get weaker and weaker and weaker until he's laying on his back and Seth Rollins hits him with the sledgehammer for the referee to go, "Well, I'm done, we have to end this match." Vince McMahon, you're just giving your competition ammo to say, hey, look, we're over here. We're going to give you an awesome show. We're going to give you a great pay-per-view called Full Gear on November 9th that is going to kick Survivor Series ass from pillar to post. And like NXT, I am so close to just saying, fuck this stuff. Raw and SmackDown, fuck them. NXT is all for me. And AEW, NWA Power on Tuesdays, and whatever else. This was an awful, awful end to this show. Vince McMahon could go fuck off. That was just not necessary. And anybody who found that to be a good fucking ending, you need your head examined. But I think the consensus is out. This entire fucking ending was fucking shit. That is your Hell in a Cell review. Awful, awful fucking ending. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch at The France Club, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw.